So recently, I watched a documentary called The Social Dilemma, which really opened my eyes. I've already read books about social media and the way it influences us and just technology in general. I've read Digital Minimalism, which was really good. But The Social Dilemma is about, it's a documentary about how social media is marketed to make us stay on it longer and how social media makes money. And not only that, it also sort of highlights how it can influence the things you do, the actions you make, and the sides you take in different debates, which I didn't actually realize social media had the potential to do. So I realized that it's engineered in a way in which it makes you want to stay on it longer, and it can become addictive, and there's all these sort of the color red is used to make you want to check your notifications. The phone vibrates, the phone will make nice noises to make you want to check it again and again. It'll sort of kill your productivity and stuff like that. That's something that I already knew. But The Social Dilemma also sort of dives into how it'll start giving you information that you're more likely to adhere to want to listen to, and to want to agree with. So for example, for my instance, I'm someone that's a very environmentally conscious person, and so I get a lot of, well, I don't, but if I was sort of hoping to vote for someone in the oncoming elections, I would start getting a lot if I was on Facebook. I'm not actually on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook that much. If I was on Facebook, I would start getting a lot of sort of content of this political leader talking about how they are going to help with the environment. And I will also get videos or information about the opposition talking about how they are against climate change, for example, and which would really steer me towards one path. I'm more likely to go with the political leader that supports the environment rather than the one who doesn't support the environment, even though the person on the other end may actually have a lot of good points. But I will only think about this person and them being good because of all the content that I've been given on the internet. And the reason I'm being given this content is because I like it, and because of that, I'm more likely to stay on the internet, on the social media on the social media site. Which is insane, because if you think about it, if I'm only getting this information, and it's only, this is the only information that is useful to me, then I never learn about the other side, and I start forming bad views of the other side. And if I meet someone who supports this person, I will think of them as an idiot compared to people who support this person who I support, which I think is really dangerous. And I'm not saying that that's something that I need to, it's not something that matters to me that much. I have to vote. Living in Australia, I have to vote. But my social media does not influence that, because I don't actually think that much about voting, which I should, but I don't. But I do worry about other different debates that take place on the internet, other information I get, other news I get on the internet, and how truthful it is, and whether it is written in a way that will appeal to me so that it makes me stay on the internet longer. So that's something that The Social Dilemma, it really hit me about The Social Dilemma, the documentary, how they explained this stuff. And it made me realize that, I really don't want to be influenced by the sort of algorithms. If I want to get news, I want to get news from credible sites. So essentially, The Social Dilemma really opened my eyes from that perspective, and it caused me to uninstall a lot of apps from my phone. For example, Instagram and Snapchat. I don't really use Facebook anyway, and I don't use Twitter as well. But that was kind of counterproductive, because on Instagram, I have a account with my sister where we post stuff about our podcast, and I'd like to be active on it, and I'd like to promote our podcast. And so it doesn't really make much sense for me to completely, stay away from Instagram. Besides, Instagram is a place that I do like being on sometimes, because I get to see what my friends are doing, and I get to see the memes that are circulating, which is always nice. But I also recognize that it's not something that I want to be on all the time. And it's also something that I don't want to be influenced by. And so there were a lot of pages that I was following that would dive into sort of a lot of political debates that were taking place, and they were all sort of very one-sided. And so I unfollowed a lot of those pages, And I'm hoping that if I want news now, that I will go to sort of credible news sites to find them out, or ask my dad, because he generally reads the news. But yeah, so essentially I watched The Social Dilemma, removed a lot of the social media apps that I had, but then got stuck because I don't think it's really productive to just completely remove yourself from everything, especially when you have friends on these things and they want to share things with you and they want to have conversations about stuff on Instagram or on social media with you. And so I came up with some rules. I came up with some rules to help me better manage my social media. The first one that I've already said is that I have unfollowed a lot of pages on Instagram, pages that could influence me in ways that I don't want to be influenced unless it was myself influencing me. And I've also decided that I will only use Instagram on days when I want to post stuff on the podcast account. So I've designated 2 days in the week where I will do that. Apart from that, I have also made a decision that I will only watch YouTube once a week. So that would be I would have a designated amount of time where I would watch YouTube. And so what this does it allows me to avoid sort of scrolling on the site all the time, and it allows me to be more mindful of the content that I am consuming. Because with YouTube, if I only give myself, for example, an hour a week or more than an hour a week to watch content, then I can only watch stuff that I really, really want to watch. It prevents me from spending time on stuff that I don't really care about. And I'm just watching because I've gotten into the flow of it. So yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to talk about. It's a bit of a rambly video. In summary, The Social Dilemma is a really, really good documentary. I would recommend watching it, and I'm sure you'll take away something from it. And yeah, maybe think about the way social media influences the thoughts you have and the ideas you have, and do you have any ideas that maybe someone would hear and go, I don't know if I agree with that. And maybe think about, how did that idea come about? Was it because you came across it yourself, or was it because of the media that you were consuming and the recommendations that you were getting that initially you weren't really getting because you were good for you were just getting so that you would stay longer on the social media site, so that more ads can be fed to you. Yeah, maybe have to think about that. Or maybe, you're someone that doesn't get influenced at all, and social media is a place for you to enjoy, and you don't really think that much about what you're consuming and stuff like that, which is totally fine as well. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Hope you're taking care of yourself, and see ya.